Good afternoon, friends. It's Curtis Robinson with Conway Toe to Toe and Toe to Toe Farms and Training. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about meal planning. I will tell you that you need to understand a few basic things about human biology and your own personal genetics before you do anything. The first thing is, if you're sick or you're having some other medical condition, particularly like diabetes, don't do anything that I tell you to do unless you check with your doctor. That might also be true if you have some other kind of condition, be it again diabetes or hypoglycemia, any of those things that could throw you off. So this is just general good information for you to build your own plan. Now here's the first thing I'm going to tell you. The number one thing I think everybody that's trying to lose weight should get rid of is fast food. Fast food we must get rid of. So if I put that up here, if I put fast food, right? Here's how you remember. It's a big circle with a freaking slash through it. Do not eat fast food. And when I say don't eat it ever. If you eat it occasionally, you're going to want to eat it more often. It is addictive. It's laden with sugar and other, it does have some complex carbohydrates. I don't think that the meat in most of the hamburgers we eat has much value at all. I can tell you that from time to time I will eat a McDonald's hamburger or some French fries, but I'm telling you, it is very rarely. I don't like it. I don't want it. I'm in a big hurry. I might pick up something. Typically, I'll go and try to eat something a little bit more healthy, like Tacos for Life, which has like fish. Fish tacos are pretty good. You might also consider Arby's if you get a regular roast beef and you get lettuce, tomato, and onion on it. At least you got something that's real meat, real vegetables, and of course the bread is what it is. But guys, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, I'm just going to say no. Chick-fil-A is not awful, but I'm going to tell you again, it's covered in bread. The breaded fried part is not good for you, generally speaking. So first step, kill fast food. Now for those of you out there that are like, Curtis, I can't do that. I eat too much fast food. Just turn the video off. If you don't turn the video off, you're going to have to listen to me drone on and on about other things you're going to need to do. And the first thing is the most important thing. Cut out fast food. All right, number two, guys, cut out soda and sugary drinks. When I say sugary drinks, anything that ends with "aid," to include my favorite, Gatorade. I drink a lot of Gatorade. The only reason that anyone should be drinking Gatorade is if they are really performing at all times and they're low on electrolytes, because it does have that. But it also has a ton of sugar, so if you're trying to lose weight, you don't need all the sugar. I'm going to tell you right now, super rich sweet tea. Now if you're going to drink tea, drink unsweetened tea. Drink it with lemon. That's fine. You do not need all the sugar. But lemonade, Gatorade, Powerade, Kool-Aid, all those things are just chock-packed full of various sweeteners, and some of them aren't even sugar. Some of them are chemicals like aspartame, and that's just not good for you. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write here, sugary, I'm just going to put a Y here, sugary drinks, mostly soda, right? If you want to lose weight, you got to cut it. I ain't cut it. Now, I'm not saying you can't have a piece of pie. I'm not saying you can't have a piece of cake or even a brownie. Sure, on occasion, not every day and definitely not every meal, you can have dessert, of course. Have a cookie or two. Don't eat a whole box of cookies. So the next thing that leads me into is portion size. Guys, listen to me. If you've gotten this far in the video and you're willing to at least consider, to lose weight, cutting out your fast food and cutting out sugary drinks, you're on a great path. If you're not willing to do that, turn off the video. Everything I say after this is not going to make a difference. So here's the next thing that I want to share with you guys. Look at your hand. All right, look at it. Your hand basically should be the size of the portion that you have. If you're a big man or even a big woman with a big hand, or giant hand like I have smaller hands, you might need a little bit more food. On your plate, you put your hand down on the plate, and that's basically the size portion that you should have. Now, I'm going to tell you that when I draw this picture of my hand, you're going to see that this portion is the meat portion. And this portion, all of the hand, should be your vegetable portion. All right, so let's kind of do that. Spread your fingers wide, right? And that's not terribly big. Most people have a plate that's that big. You do not need the largest plate in the house when you make your meal. You should have a reasonable size portion. For example, a cereal bowl is a portion size bowl. A salad bowl is not a portion size bowl. It is basically just for salad. In other words, it's basically, crunchy water is what my kids like to call lettuce. So that is the size portion, the total size portion for vegetables, right? Vegetables, right, are going to be in purple. Take the palm of the hand, right? This is the size meat. Now, let's be honest. There are reasons why you might need more meat, okay? If you are trying to gain muscle mass, you don't want to burn all of the sugars, all of the carbs, then all the protein. If we're trying to put on muscle mass, we don't want to burn those things. We have to be careful of that. We'd rather burn the fat. So there's different ways to burn the fat, but I'll tell you that in most cases, we're going to burn sugars and carbs first. We're just going to burn that first. That's what we would want if we're getting ready to go work out intensely. You might want to eat an apple before your workout. It's a great sugar pre-workout kind of a thing. The protein is what you probably want to take into your body after the workout. So believe it or not, a chocolate milk, which has a ton of sugar in it, probably not a bad after workout kind of a drink. Or white milk would also be fine. Whole milk is what you want, something with protein in it. It does have a little bit of fat in it, but lactose, if you're lactose intolerant, is bad, so obviously keep that in mind. But lactose, anything that says ose, like sucrose, glucose, those are sugars. So kind of keep in mind that it does have some sugar in it. It will give you a little bit of recovery energy. The protein in it will help you build some muscles. It's not a bad recovery drink. You don't want to drink a gallon of milk every day. That is probably too much milk. So, vegetables, the whole thing in purple, and meat, the smaller piece in the middle, it's about 8 ounces. 8 ounces is plenty of meat if you're trying to lose weight. Now, let's kind of talk about the basic food groups and what should your meal include. Let's look at the morning, right? Let's see if I can get in over here. All right, if you wake up at 6 a.m., right, early in the morning, that is when you should be trying to eat something substantial. A lot of people don't like breakfast, or if they eat breakfast, they're eating a Pop-Tart on the way out, nothing but pure sugar. They're drinking maybe a Pop-Tart with, if you're lucky, with some orange juice, almost completely pure sugar. Be careful about fruit juices without the pulp. Pulp helps you pass things. It's got fiber in it. Without the fiber, you're getting nothing but sugar. And even though fructose is probably the best sugar to have, it's still pure sugar. So be careful of that. I would say 6 a.m., start off with 8 to 12 ounces of H2O. You need water. Drink water first thing in the morning, right? Then go ahead and eat something. You get the water on in your stomach. That helps rehydrate you. You'll feel better. The next thing is that you'll get some food in you, and it's not going to feel like you're so hungry that you're gobbling down everything, but you want a substantial amount of good protein in the morning. That's why people typically eat eggs. If you want toast, put peanut butter on it, not jelly. Peanut butter is better for you if you want to lose weight. Don't use a crap ton of peanut butter and jelly anyways, but a thin layer of peanut butter is absolutely fine, or almond butter, some other kind of butter. Now, 2 eggs, perfectly good. I would say stay away from sausage. I love bacon. Sausage isn't bad, but I love bacon. Stay away from sausage, stay away from bacon. If you're going to have a breakfast meat, and, to go with your eggs is considered a meat since it's obviously protein, you're going to want to have a thin piece of steak or a thin piece of ham. Those are going to be better for you. Anything that comes right off the bone is a better meat, right? So again, steak comes off the bone. Ham comes off the bone. What exactly is sausage? It's a ground up bunch of who knows what with all kinds of chemicals and other things, preservatives that we put in there. It's not as good for you. And bacon, while it does come off right from the pig, what I will tell you is that oftentimes it is cured or that it is smoked in a way that's not necessarily as good for you that you might think. It's got a ton of fat. Kind of keep that in mind. Don't get me wrong, we do need some fat. So, up in the morning, water, 8 to 12 ounces, 2 eggs, right? Ham, right? You can also have 2 pieces of toast. That is a reasonable breakfast. If you don't get the reasonable breakfast, all you have time for is a Pop-Tart. Eat the Pop-Tart. It is better than nothing. Don't skip. When you skip, you tend to get really hungry for lunch. And then, of course, you end up eating a late dinner because we're hungry and we want to fill that. The stomach expands. Then if we don't, let's say we miss breakfast, the stomach has contracted, but we're so hungry that we eat and we expand the stomach. And then we get sleepy around 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. And then by 5 o'clock, we're starting to get hungry again a little bit, but it's not until 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night sometimes we're eating, and then we're eating a lot. Don't eat late. Be careful of that. So I'm going to say 6 a.m., get up and eat. Then go get your shower, brush your teeth, do everything you need to do. Let's say that you don't get up till 8 a.m. No problem. You can still work it at 8 a.m. It just sets everything back. But here about noon, about 12 noon, okay, this is when you have whatever substantial meal that you're going to have. If you want anything white rice, white potatoes, white pasta, white bread, lunch is a great time to have that, okay? Because anything white is going to be a complex carbohydrate, starches. So again, rice, potatoes, pasta, all those things, complex carbohydrates. They give you energy, and you need to get that during the day when you have time to burn it. Don't eat that stuff at the end of the day. What are you doing at 7, 8 o'clock at night? You're sitting down, you're doing nothing. That's not a good time for you to have a bunch of complex carbohydrates. Instead, you're going to have more vegetables and a small piece of meat for dinner. Kind of keep that in mind, okay? So lunch should be, I'm going to say, substantial. All right, when I was a kid, I was given 2 pieces of white bread, a skinny piece of meat, or sometimes peanut butter and jelly, and a bag of chips, and that was it. A lot of carbs, not very good for you. You tend to kind of burn it quickly, and then you're out. So again, eat something that's a little more substantial. That's when you want the chicken, grilled chicken, on top of lettuce, so you can have a salad with grilled chicken on it. The chicken salad is great. I'm not talking about chicken salad sandwich, which is different, has a ton of mayonnaise and everything else in it. This is just lettuce, tomato, onion, good vegetables with chicken on it. Now, if you want to throw a little bit of cheese on there, that's okay. But remember, cheese has fat in it, so be careful of that. A little bit is fine. A ton of cheese, not what you want to lose weight. I love cheese, not against cheese. I love milk, not against milk. You just need to understand what to take into your body and when. All right, so let's say that we're going to eat at between 6 and 8 a.m., right? That's between 6 hours, 6 to 12 is 6 hours, or 4 hours from 8 to 12 is 4 hours. So we're roughly eating every 4 to 6 hours. So in 4 hours, if you eat at noon, you need to eat something about 4 o'clock. No later than 6 o'clock. Let's go ahead and just write 6 p.m. here. This is your dinner meal. Most people think this is the big meal. We should feast for dinner. Now I'm going to tell you, that's fine and dandy. Again, if you work very hard, you're a lumberjack, you're on the farm and you're busting your butt 12 hours a day doing physical labor. You're a brick mason, or you're doing something where you're really pumping muscles, man. You're moving, you're hustling, you're doing things. You're a professional prize fighter, MMA fighter or something like that. You're going to need a ton of calories if you're training all day, you're working the body all day. But most of us sit behind a desk. We sit behind a computer. We do very little. When you're in school, you're not very active. So this is not a good thing for you. Smaller meal at dinner time. So again, if this is your size meal, mostly vegetables, small piece of meat, I already discussed that. That's basically what you should be doing at dinner time. Focus on vegetables at dinner time. Broccoli, asparagus, cauliflower, these are great vegetables. Have a piece of steak, have a pork chop, have 4 or 5 chicken wings, or have two big drumsticks or a breast for chicken. All of those things are going to be great. A piece of fish is really great, but you want to keep it about 8 ounces of actual meat. If you get somewhere in the neighborhood of about 16 ounces of meat, let's say you get a 16-ounce steak, number one, you're going to be stuffed. It's going to sit on your stomach hard, and then ultimately you're probably not going to burn it. You're going to end up storing either sugars, complex carbohydrates like starches, like pasta, rice, and all those things, Protein you're going to store, and then fat you're going to store if you're not burning it. So let's do some math. Okay, I'm going to do a little math here for you. So I'm going to see if I can zoom this in a bit. Can I zoom it in? I thought it would zoom, but it's not zooming. All right, how about I just move the whole thing forward? The good old move the camera forward trick. Okay. All right, guys. Let me angle this over here. Listen to me carefully. It's just math. If you understand math, you should be able to figure this piece out. I've got a Fitbit. The Fitbit tells me right now, I'm somewhere in the neighborhood of about 1,200 calories burned, and it's 3 o'clock. I mean, I basically have been sitting behind my desk. I haven't been terribly active. I trained one person early today, and I know I'm going to be doing a lot at the 6 o'clock hour and 7 o'clock hour. I'll be busier. But I typically burn somewhere in the neighborhood of about 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day. Most people don't. Most people are burning 2,000 calories a day. And your resting metabolic rate is usually about 1,600 to 1,700 calories. Now, a calorie is just a measurement of energy. So, let's kind of do this. I'm going to go ahead and erase this. It's in my way, so you guys know the size of your meal, okay? All right. So, if our resting metabolic rate, let's just go ahead and say 1,700 calories. It's just a number. Don't panic if you don't know what it means. Okay? 1,700 calories. If you were to just eat only 3 meals a day, we just divide that by 3. Okay? Pretty simple. 3 goes into that 5 times, that's 15. 20, that's 6, and that's 6. You're looking at about 566 calories per meal. Just if you do nothing, okay? That's not much food, guys. Here's the thing. Go to Subway, and they've got how many calories each? A sandwich is 800 to 1,000 calories, particularly when you put all the stuff on it. Depending if you're eating a meatball sub or if you're eating a cold cut sub, you're going to have more calories for a meatball sub, okay? Or Philly cheesesteak is going to have more calories. Now, again, 566 calories per meal is not a lot. But let's say that you would like to eat a little bit more. Most people eat about, or they could live easily on 2,000 calories. We take 2,000, we divide it by 3 meals, right? We're looking at 6, that's 18, and that's 6, and that's 6. 666 calories in 3 meals. Kind of an ugly number. Nobody likes 666, right? It's still not a ton of calories, but people want to eat. Americans are fat, and the reason we're fat is because we love food. I love food. You love food. No one can deny that we love food. But the problem is we don't do the math. We're lazy, okay? If you did the math, you'd know the only way that you can eat, let's say you want to go and get McDonald's for breakfast, you want to get Subway for lunch, and then you want to go and eat a steak at Outback Steakhouse for dinner, you're somewhere in the neighborhood of about 3,000 or so calories. You're going to be fat. Let me show you the math. Pretty simple. Watch. If you do nothing all day long, when I say nothing, nothing physical, you get up, you get your shower, you get about 500 steps, and then you ultimately go to work and you're sitting around all day, mostly behind a computer, or maybe you're, whatever it is that you do. Even cops. Cops are more active than a lot of people, but for the most part, they sit in a car. You're sitting in a car and you're doing your job, you're doing the best that you can, but you're not physically active. And you get about 500 steps before lunch, you get maybe 500 steps after lunch, maybe 500 steps, you're looking at about 1,500, 2,000 steps. It's not very much. But let's look at it again. Your resting metabolic rate is about 1,700. So let's just say that it's 1,700. That means you're going to burn that just to live. Resting metabolic rate, 1,700 calories. But you love food, and you want to just eat 2,000. Just 2,000. We're going to put 2,000 right here. You do the math. You burned 1,700. but this is what you ate. So where are these 300 extra calories going? If you're not burning it, the body's probably going to pass some of it, but most of it's going to be stored as fat, particularly if you don't eat healthy. If you have a ton of fiber in your diet, like you're eating green leafy vegetables, for example, broccoli, asparagus, cauliflower, things of that nature, it's going to help you pass that, okay? So you may or may not necessarily store all of that. But let's just say it's 300. Doing some math now. Stay with me. 300 calories times 10 days, you're now 3,000 calories over. And 3,000 calories is 1 pound of fat. It's a pound. So roughly every 10 days, you're consuming enough additional calories that could give you a pound of fat. And people wonder why they're overweight. Okay, what are we going to do about this extra 300? I want to eat 2,000 calories. Everybody wants to eat 2,000 calories. It's about normal. Some people are eating way more, but they definitely need to cut back a smaller portion size, right? But the bottom line is, what are you going to do about this? Pretty simple. 1 hour of running or jogging is going to burn 300 to 700 calories, depending on how fast you run. So think about that. Most people don't want to run an hour, but you could run 30 minutes, right? But if you run intensely for 30 minutes, right, you're not walking, you're literally doing a jog and your heart rate is up somewhere in the neighborhood of about 140 beats per minute, maybe 120 at the low end, you can burn 300 to 700 calories in an hour. You're looking at about 350 in 30 minutes. Well, suddenly, you do the math. I'm going to go ahead and move this back out here. You were 300 over after you run. Let's say you burned 350 calories. You're 50 calories under. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. 50 calories under, you're not going to lose a whole lot of weight. The body, it's just not significant. But you're not gaining weight. Just the minimum for you to eat a 2,000 calorie diet, which is typical. And your resting metabolic rate is, let's say, 1,700. It's going to mean you're going to have a 300 calorie overage every day. You must run 30 minutes every day or you're going to get fat. Okay, now some of you are going to be like, Curtis, come on. What about genetics? You're a skinny guy. You've been skinny your whole life. Why is it that you can eat 3,000 calories or you need some days 4,000 calories just to live? Guys, I tell you, I'm eating almonds regularly to try to give me some extra. It's got a healthy fat in there. I need the fat. The fat burns longer. And I'm eating other things that, peanut butter crackers or whatever I can get to get the calories that I need just so that I can perform. Man, typically I'm burning somewhere in the neighborhood of about 4,000 calories a day, at least 3,000 on a slow day. And when you kind of look at it, I can burn 3,000, sometimes 5,000 calories in 1 hour of heavy kickboxing. And you guys are like, there's no way. That's not true. I can make 3,000 to 5,000 steps in roughly 1 hour, which again is going to be somewhere in there for about 700 calories. I apologize. I didn't mean to confuse you there. So I can burn like 700 freaking calories with about 5,000 steps just doing kickboxing. It's pretty exciting when you kind of think about it. What am I going to do for an hour? 700 calories is going to help me to consume that. Now, if I train someone in the morning and then let's say I've got an 11 o'clock class and then I've got another 5 o'clock class like the kids class or a 6 o'clock class like the adult class, well, I'm working in hour increments. I'm burning, somewhere in the neighborhood of between 300 and 700 calories 3 times a day. Well, let's do the math. Let's say that I do 3 different times that I train. Those are 30 minutes. I'm looking at 90 minutes, right? That's basically an hour and a half. And I just said that we're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of about 300 calories for half an hour. So we're looking at 900 extra calories. Well, there you go. It makes sense why I can easily eat 2,000, 3,000 calories a day and not gain a pound because I'm active. I've been active since I was a kid. I ran, I played football and soccer and baseball and we played tag at recess. We actually ran and grabbed people and tackled people for tackle football and so forth and came inside and were crazy sweaty and did reading, writing, and arithmetic and so on and so forth. Then I went home and we did more stuff. We rode bicycles on the weekends. We rode bicycles. We did stuff. Every Sunday, the neighborhood got together. We played football. This is one of those things. We don't do that anymore. Guess what we do a lot of? We do a lot of video gaming. Man, you're not burning calories. Now, mentally, you are stressing yourself out playing video games. It's a very stressful thing. It's enjoyable, but you're getting tired mentally, but you're not exercising. It doesn't count. All right. I hope you guys got that. So the math is simple. Everybody repeat after me. I burn 1,700 calories just to stay alive. Did you say it? If you didn't say it, turn off the video. You're not going to do what I tell you to do. Why are you watching? Say it. I burn 1,700 calories just to live. That means I do nothing, no walking, nothing. I lay in bed. I'm going to burn 1,700 calories. The average person is going to eat 2,000 calories. Say it. The average person is going to eat 2,000 calories. That leaves 300 calories left over that is unburned, could go into some sort of storage, probably fat storage. The math is simple. Now, let's say, for example, that you really need to lose some weight. I already told you that 3,000 calories equals a pound of fat. All right? How are we going to do that? How are we going to burn fat? That's always the trick. Okay? Number one, let's angle this up a little bit for you guys so I can point to it. Stop eating fast food. That'll help you burn fat. Stop drinking sugary drinks like anything aid, lemonade, Gatorade, Kool-Aid, soda. Stay away from those things. But guys, here's the magic. If you eat healthy, you will need less food in the body to get the nutrients. And your body's starved for nutrition. Without the proper nutrition in your body, you're going to think you're still hungry. And I've done this myself. I've gone and I've been hungry, so I just ate something, right? And then like 10 minutes later, I'm still hungry. So I go and eat something. And maybe 10 minutes later, I'm still hungry. So I eat something. So I'm snacking, just trying to, get through the day. What if we ate something that satisfied us? Now you got to figure out what that is. You got to figure out what food can you grab and eat a little bit of and you feel better. For me, I can eat about 2 pieces of beef jerky about that big and I'm satisfied. My body's craving protein, okay? So if I go and I decide to eat peanut butter crackers, not a lot of protein in the peanut butter crackers, a little bit. So I might feel hungry again, right? The second thing is we often forget or we don't recognize that what we feel inside the body is not hunger, it's thirst. How much water are you drinking? So we're going to hit that real quick. You need somewhere in the neighborhood of about 72 ounces. That's half a gallon of H2O. I can't write my 2's today. There we go. 72 ounces of H2O. That's half a gallon of water every day. Fitness experts will tell you a gallon is better. You want a gallon of water. You need that to hydrate yourself. And if you are active, you're going to want that water. If you don't want the water, why? Number one, you're probably not sweating. Number two, the body isn't really craving water, but it's probably craving nutrition, and water doesn't have nutrition. Water is just a hydrating element. It's not really giving us any nutrition. We don't get any kind of vitamins or minerals or any kind of real protein value because it's just empty. It's just water. It's just empty. Okay? So drink the water, then eat something healthy. Okay? Now I'm not telling you to go eat a whole bunch of beef jerky, but that just happens to be a snack that I can quickly grab, keep in my office and store, and it doesn't go bad. All right, and I'm also not eating it as a main meal. But the bottom line is that you have to decide what is it that you can eat that gives you some satisfaction. So if you go and you eat 2 cookies, the cookies are delicious, but you're going to want more cookies right after that, am I right? It's because the cookies have no nutritional value. They'll fill the belly, and the sugar gives us a sugar rush. The brain tells us it's wonderful. We want cookies. But you're going to be hungry again. It's not going to satisfy you. Believe it or not, when you eat the cookies with milk, the milk is what's satisfying you. Isn't that funny? Think about that. So, for your snack, I'm going to tell you, have a smoothie, something with milk in it, with ice and with fruit. That's going to be more satisfying than cookies. But let's get back to this water thing. Let's try to get somewhere in the neighborhood up to 1 gallon of H2O every day. If you can't do it, half a gallon is reasonable. try to get up to the 1 gallon. You'll feel better. You'll look better, right? Being dehydrated, you feel crappy. And how do you try to feel better? You eat some sugar, right? Let's drink water so we're hydrated. We won't typically want as much sugar. Okay. The next piece, let's talk about, we already talked a little about when you should eat. You must eat breakfast. You must eat lunch. You must eat dinner. Don't fast. If you fast, the body will go into starvation mode, okay? We think, holy cow, there's a famine. It's actually called famine mode. Google it. Google famine mode in the body and see what pops up. And it's going to tell you that the body's going to start holding on and becoming super efficient, burning, right? You'll be tired more often. You'll want to sleep more often. And when you're resting, you're burning fewer calories. But here's the problem. You're going to eat something and you're going to think, oh, but I ate just a small bit. That's all I ate. And then your body's going to start adapting, and that's going to be enough nutrition to sustain you, to keep you alive. So your resting metabolic rate that I told you was 1700. When you're in famine mode, it goes down. You'll drop to about 1600 calories or maybe even fewer, which tells me that you can get by on less. That's pretty great. If there's a famine in real life, there's no food to be had, the body will adapt. But if you're trying to lose weight, you want to burn calories. So you want this number to be higher. Let's increase that number instead. Let's go from 17 to 1800 calories for our resting metabolic rate, RMR. How do you do that? Fitness. Fitness is the way. If you put on 10 pounds of muscle, and you can do that in 1 year. Don't try to do it in 5 minutes. But in 1 year, if you gain 10 pounds in muscle, which means you're strength training, lifting weights, doing some sort of resistance training, interval training, something that you can do for 10 minutes, then you have to stop. It's not like running and jogging and swimming. That's cardio. Don't worry about cardio. That's great. I want you to do that to help you burn. But raising your metabolic rate means you get to eat more food, but you need more muscle on your body to do that. So you're going to eat protein. You're going to do at least 3 to 5 days of strength training. You got to lift weights, man. You got to do it. And I'm not talking about going in there and doing a few of these curls, right? Just a few curls on each arm and you say, oh, I'm strength training. That's not what I'm talking about. Major muscle movement. I want you to move large muscle groups. The squat. Get heavy weight. Even if you don't go to the gym, find 2 bricks and put on some gloves, hold the bricks, and then you bend your knees and you squat, and then you come up and you do that for a set of 10. And then you do 3 sets of 10, then you try to get up to 4 sets of 10, then you get 5 sets of 10. And you are burning a lot of calories, but you're also strengthening the quadriceps, the glutes, and the hamstrings, and a little bit on the calf muscles. And those are producing productive muscles, which basically means resting metabolic rate is going to go up. Then I want you to think about your core. I want you to do ab drills, back drills, right? So back drills are things like rowing, right? Row machine is super good. If you have something where you can do pull-ups, right? You do pull-ups, you're working the back. That's super important. Corner bar drills. If you don't know these terms, look them up. So again, squats, deadlifts, corner bar drill, row, and there's a couple other ones that you can do. Stay away from the small muscle group when you first start. So again, don't get me wrong, do some curls. I mean, if you like curls, do curls, but you're only working really one muscle, and that's the bicep. You're really not doing much for the whole body. Then let's go ahead and work the triceps, arms, in the arms and the chest, a little bit of shoulders with some push-ups. You can do push-ups, you can do bench press. There's just a ton of great pushing kind of drills that you can do, and that's going to help strengthen the upper body pretty nicely, okay? So chest, shoulder, and tricep is a good day. Let's do that Mondays. Let's do back and biceps, right? So biceps are these curls or the pulling motion like this, or doing pull-ups. Again, doing lat pull downs. These kinds of things are super good. Again, doing a row or a corner bar drill. Those are great for back and biceps. And then on your third day, let's do leg day. That's squats. That's deadlift. The power lifting exercises are what you want to do to build the muscle. And as you build muscle, your resting metabolic rate goes up. That means your body says, hey, I need food, and you have food on hand, and it's going to start burning food. If it doesn't have food, it's going to burn that fat. So here's the thing. Again, don't think I'm saying you need to fast. What I am saying you need to do is eat slightly less calories than you are burning so that you have a calorie deficit, but only a small one. So if you're now at 1,800 calories resting metabolic rate, and let's say, for example, that you decide to go for a run or a jog or something of that nature, which is 700 calories, right? You can now eat somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,500 calories because you're more efficient. I'm sorry, you're burning more calories. The body's actually less efficient. That sounds bad, but we want to be less efficient to burn. You've got more muscle. It's burning. It's requiring more fuel. Look at it like this. A Prius, which is a very small car, can get, 50, 60 miles to a gallon or something outrageous. I know my wife's Hyundai can get 30 miles to the gallon. It's a 4-cylinder engine. My 6-cylinder car gets 19 miles to the gallon just because it has a bigger engine. And, a V6 isn't a big engine. It's a mid-size engine. If you've got a V8 and you can get, 12 miles to the gallon, that's usually pretty good. So what's it saying? It drinks more gas because it's bigger. You're going to need more food because you are bigger. When I say bigger, not fatter, but more muscular. Keep that in mind. All right, friends. The last thing that I want to talk about is how much exercise do you really need? How much? Every day you must do a minimum of 30 minutes of something. It can be cardio, it can be strength training, it can be kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, it can be ballet, it can be dance, anything where you are in motion, significant motion particularly, you need 30 minutes. Now I'm going to tell you that you also need 30 minutes of HIIT training. This is high intensity, high intensity interval training, HIIT. The interval means you do it and you go on to something else and you do that and then you go back to this and then you go back to that. So in the old days in the Army, we would run for a sprint. You can't sprint very far. Then you do push-ups. And when your muscles get tired, you roll over and you do sit-ups. Right after you do sit-ups, you go and you sprint. That's interval training. And it's really good for the body. And the reason why is because it's not just cardio. It requires you to blast energy, right? So let's say the most you can do is 50 push-ups and you do 1 per second. You're doing basically a minute worth of push-ups and you're done. You can't do any more. You're at muscle failure, right? So you do the push-ups, you do the sit-ups, you do the run. Then you catch your breath. You do the push-ups, you do the sit-ups, you do the run. And you could change it to other drills, obviously. Okay, you can always add squats or lunges in there to get more leg strengthening work. But you must do that high intensity interval training 30 minutes a day. Now you're looking at an hour. 30 minutes of cardio, 30 minutes of HIIT training. There's your hour. You're going to burn somewhere in the neighborhood of about 700 extra calories. You'll enjoy the food. The food will taste better. You're going to enjoy the water. The water will taste better because your body wants it. Your body needs it. And it's been probably telling you your whole life you need these things and you've been feeding it garbage. I don't mean that to be ugly, but let's be honest. In the Deep South, man, we'll deep fry an Oreo. It just doesn't make sense to me why people are eating this garbage. It's just bad for you. Eat 3 good meals a day. Have 1 or 2 snacks in between, something simple that's good for you, right? A cheese stick, a piece of beef jerky is not too bad. By the way, there's almost no caloric difference, no nutritional difference between a candy bar and a granola bar. So don't think, I'm eating these granola bars, I got to be getting healthy. Not necessarily. They're both a bunch of sugar and carbohydrates. They're not necessarily better for you. Now, a protein bar is different from a granola bar, so kind of keep that in mind. Guys, my name is Curtis Robinson, and I hope I've given you good information. As I recap, I want you to remember a few key things. You should immediately cut fast food. If you're not willing to cut fast food, by the way, that includes pizza. Yes, we love pizza. By the way, that includes tacos over at Taco Bell. If you make something from scratch at home, that's different. Fresh guacamole, fresh lettuce, tomato, and you put some ground beef on there and you put it in a tortilla. You got a burrito or you got yourself a taco, whatever else. It's better than whatever that garbage is that Taco Bell is feeding us. It's just garbage. It's not real food. If you're gonna have a hamburger, make a hamburger with real meat. You make it. You pat that meat, then you grill it. Right? Don't fry it on the stove. Grill it, and then add lettuce, tomato, and onion onto it. 1 piece of cheese is probably reasonable, and then enjoy that rather than going to eat fast food. If you're going to have pizza, You make the pizza and make it good, make it healthy. Don't let them do all this stuff that they do to pizza. It's just not good for you when you buy it out in the world. By the way, I think I should mention, I think it's, I would be remiss if I didn't mention, why does fast food have less nutrition than the things we make at home? Here's the reason. They want you to come back, so they dump a ton of sugar in it. Everything has sugar in it, okay? Whether it's fructose, sucrose, or glucose, it's got some sort of ose in it, even lactose, some sort of ose. It's just going to be sweeter, it's going to taste better, and it's going to make you fat. Sauces, anything, you're going to put barbecue sauce, ketchup. Ketchup has more sugar in it than you can shake a stick at. It's amazing how much sugar is in a bottle of ketchup. It's just an enormous amount of sugar. But any kind of sauces that you put on there, barbecue sauce, Chick-fil-A sauce, right? Freddy's makes their own sauce. There's Chick sauce and Freddy sauce and all this other sauce. It's just not good for you. It's a ton of sugar and fat. That's what it is. And that's why it tastes so good. I'm going to be honest, fat's delicious. Fat is amazing. That's why we love bacon. Bacon's delicious. Eat it in moderation. Sparingly. As if, oh, this is the last pack of bacon in the world. I want to make it last. I'm going to eat one piece, maybe 2 pieces, and I'm going to save the rest. I'll make 1 or 2 pieces and I'm going to save the rest. Don't eat it every day. Okay, you'll be sorry. Guys, again, my name is Curtis Robinson. I am the owner of Conway Toe to Toe and Toe to Toe Firearms and Training. I will tell you that I am currently, and have been for years, a certified personal trainer with the National Strength Conditioning Association. I can tell you right now that I couldn't just get that certificate without doing the research and the homework and ultimately qualifying, take a test, the whole 9 yards. I'm telling you the things that I have researched and that ultimately does work. Guys, I hope this was helpful. If you have other questions and you want a meal plan, I'm not giving you that for free. You're going to have to come and pay me. I know that sucks, but it takes a lot of time to build a meal plan. What I've given you today is general food information, and I hope it's been helpful. Take care. God bless.